Man, not the outcome that we kind of expected. I ain't gonna lie. St. Clair kind of gave you the key on this one. He was asking, was this a trap game? Turned out to be, yeah. So looks like we kind of look cooked right now. Might be about that time to turn the page on football season as far as hopes for win a SWAC championship. We'll see. I know we'll be this weekend. You already know what's up. So we think so.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, greetings, salutations. Good to see everybody. Wish it was under better terms, but kind of is what it is. I mean, not the outcome we wanted. What's up, little baby? But it's the outcome we got. So shout out to the moms on this one. One of my birthday package gifts, LA Rams Xavier Smith shirt. So got the Terrell Jennings, got the Xavier Smith. Obviously, I know I got the Marquise Bell. We'll see if there's another one in store. So, definitely rocking it for the Rams. So, yeah, little baby. We all kind of sick because it might be time to turn the page on this football season. So, yeah, no, I'm petty. I got jokes. So, but interesting outcome. And I ain't gonna lie, that post game, at first, I was a little salty because I got shut down on my last question. And I was like, what? But kind of looking after the fact, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm not mad about it. Y'all had a whole fight down there. So you seen the video. Not sure how much it was really a fight. Really looked like, from my perspective, our players are kind of going in and slow it down. But we might try to touch on that a little bit later. Now, don't forget round one, St. Clair Moraine, and myself on Hallelujah 95, sponsored by Tyler State College. Don't forget also support the Rattler Boosters. Even after football season, them and the Fangs Exchange continue to support our student athletes. So, yeah, man. So it's like I've been turned Doug McCall reading this. Hey, now before we jump into the football, look, I've been calling this one for a minute. I've been saying she should be on the FAMU staff as far as, honestly, the last coaching hire, last two, I was one of the first ones to be like, why don't you go down the street and get this one? This is what you do. I like it, Coach Pressure. She went down to FAMU DRS, and man, I'm looking forward to this. I'm thinking this is the launch. So congratulations, Coach Erica Cromartie from FAMU DRS is now part of the Florida A&M University basketball staff. Good timing. I think with that hire, it was a little, I want to say late, just for as far as like my perspective. Like, she's been killing the DRS for a long time. It has that window kind of closed as far as being able to just dominate from DRS. I mean, call a spade a spade. DRS is not the dominant program that it was in its heyday. Like, that's as nice as I can say it. Like, honestly, it's part of me where it's like some sports that you probably drop, like football, just because you're not committing to football the same way that schools like NFC have been. They're not there anymore. But McClay, John Paul II, all those schools there locally are doing it at a level that DRS is not. And so, considering that she's really taken that program and flipped it, I'm telling you, when Coach Pressure decides, this is the next call I make. And if Coach Pressure does not decide, I would be very surprised if she doesn't get a shot at some university within the next 2 years. You're not going to have that kind of success at the high school ranks at a underserved program, and then come to FAMU, coach for a minute, look like what we're about to look like, and not get some looks. So just saying. What's up, Gail? Now tomorrow, now the only reason I use the FSU one is not because I'm a fan of both schools. I am. But it's really, I didn't see the FAMU graphic out. So I was like, hey, I want to make sure I got something, and I didn't want to create it myself. So hey, Florida State already put it out there, and they're calling it the tally tip off. I kind of like that. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I would love if this was something that was like almost a holiday tournament, kind of like how we used to have, you know, Capital City Classic, have it led off by either FAMU and FSU playing each other, or have that be the culmination. I don't know, just something like that. But I think this is a great idea. You have someone like Coach Wyckoff at Florida State. She gets it. I think that's a great connection, not just because of the outside stuff, but because I think she kind of gets the idea that if you get both these programs working together, man, that's a pretty good look. And maybe in the next couple of years, we can get them to come across the streets of Lawson Center. It's an idea. It's a thought. Do it what you will, but I put it out there. So now their next game tomorrow, again, is against Florida State. Now I'm telling you now, if you are FSU or a FAMU fan, they got a little deal where if FSU scores more than 80 points, people get free Chick-fil-A. I'm just, hey, you go fact check me on that. Y'all know how I am on that. I argue with data. So you can go look. It's on their women's basketball page. They score more than 80 points. There's some free Chick-fil-A in there. So FAMU, the goal is don't let them score 80. Or if they score more than 80, just score more than them. I mean, that's the real goal. Leave the Tucker Center with a win, but keep them below 80. We don't want you to get no free chicken sandwich off FAMU. No. Nay. We want to put a stop to that. So we'll see. Also, the men play tomorrow. They play the University of Maryland, 7 p.m. Big Ten Network. So, the women are on TV too. Like, so Oh, look, EA. I had to warm up. I didn't want to finish with the non-revenue sports. Okay, they are revenue, but I didn't want to finish basketball. Kind of let folks kind of get in before we get in with the get on. But right on time. EA must have known. Look, feel like you're looking at the slide deck. But yeah, man. My boy gets in. It wasn't a good game, man. 31-12. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you gave them 14 points. So, I mean, you give a team, you spot them 14 because of turnovers. And as Coach mentioned, you're missing the person that's probably going to be the SWAC Player of the Year. It kind of is what it is. So 31-12, upset loss to Prairie View. Not a game that you expected to lose, but you lost it. And kind of watching back, like I'm listening to anyone who wants to say that there should be some changes made on the Hill, especially because there's some changes made across the street. But I'll say it like this: changes across the street been years in the making. Like, that defensive coordinator over there has been on a hot seat for years. That receiver coach that they have, FAMU DR's graduate, been on the hot seat for years. And it got worse when your second round pick, highest receiver from your school last year, if you're, Keon Coleman, pretty much tells people don't go to Florida State. You're not going to get developed. Yep. That just confirmed what a lot of people have been saying. So, and that's not an indictment on the guy. That's just, again, that's what they said. You can go Google it. You can fact check it. It's out there. So it's not hate. I don't hate. Yeah, no, I don't break news. I'm just honestly gonna tell y'all what it says. So, but in this game, if you're frustrated offensive coordinator, I understand. I definitely felt like, just kind of watching the game, there was the time when everything Willie Simmons said about my boy was true. I'll say it like that. If you go back to last year and you'll hear some of the consternation about why isn't Junior getting some shots? Why is Musa playing so much? You literally, I remember vividly Willie Simmons saying there are plays when Junior looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And there's the next play where you're like, what's going on? And we saw that. I mean, that touchdown pass, Junior threw a dime and he ran it to perfection. Like the spin around, he throws it a dime. It was a dot. He didn't hit a deep pass with a damn. And that's my boy. Like, I ain't gonna lie. That's my guy. The deep passes weren't there. Like, you look, and if he hits 2 of those deep balls, this is a different game. If he hits all the deep passes, this is a different game. So you're starting to kind of look and you start to see like, okay, what's the future going to be like here? And I asked the question. I ain't gonna lie. I asked Cozy the question. I was like, hey, we know Richardson's got a concussion. He's out. Do you kind of have that conversation about what goes on in the quarterback room? And it was more so of kind of a, we got who we got, kind of didn't go straight to the answer that I wanted, where it's like, we're going to keep him there or we're going to use the backup. It was more of a, we're kind of waiting and seeing what Daniel Richardson is going to be. And honestly, like I told y'all before, that's my guy. But Richardson's a better QB. And in this case, in that one pass play we saw, that's not what you want the fans to see. When the backup came in, and it wasn't a great pass. I'm not even going to sit up here and lie. That one pass he threw wasn't great, but it was in catch radius. And that makes all the difference in the world, because that one pass, and I don't know if you like me, but you sitting up here looking like, I can see more of that, especially next week against Valley, because if we getting 12 points against PV, bro, that is, yeah. I mean, you lose the Valley. Okay. Randy Shannon won't be the only one looking for a new job next year. I'm just saying, like, you can't lose the Valley. And that's a not can happen, never can lose situation. Unless they're pulling Jerry Rice, little nephew, or somebody like that. That's not a game you can lose. This is another almost Lincoln situation where it's like, you'll throw the backup in and see what we got. Like, if it hurts his feelings, it hurts his feelings. But I'll be honest with you. This is a game where I kind of asked the question, and I ask it on this side. Do you rest Daniel Richardson just for concussion protocol reasons? Like, he's got nothing to win by playing this game. Like, stats, okay, that's really cool, but it's inefficient. But you got 2 games after that you gotta win, and we've seen what my boy got. Like, don't get me wrong. Again, hope nobody takes this as me switching sides and me being phony. I'm one of those. I like real friends. Like, I have friends and associates that voted for Trump, and they know why they voted for him, and they're not black. And when it comes down to it, some of them are going to be real enough to say it's because she's a woman. Yeah, and they're going to leave it right there, and that plane lands right there. And you know what? You're honest. You're real. Because what I don't want is for you to be like, oh yeah, I checked blue. No, I checked red, and this is why. Okay, you real. I'm gonna be real with y'all. At this point, I started shopping the film. I think that was, somebody said that, one of my, I believe one of my cousins said that, either cousin Tony or cousin Jonathan was like, oh yeah, that's his film. It might have been Gerald. That's his film. This is for transfer. Like, you got some good passes in there. You got some bad ones in there. You know how to do the edit thing on Huddle. I start shopping it. Like, yo, I got a quarterback, decent student, supposed to be on pace to graduate. Can we get him in there? Like, real question, real idea though, real spiel. If I'm Cozy, I don't play Danny Richardson unless I have to this week because that offensive line, you got multiple injuries. You know you can beat Valley with the backups at most positions. The question is, can you do it with a backup quarterback? Like, let's just call that what it is. Like, you really got to kind of get that. Like, and look right here. So why are they making a fuss about a QB battle at the start of the season? I think that's trying to, I feel like it was trying to create competition, if I'm being honest, retrospectively thinking. And I think that was also how much of the offense that Richardson picked up. And once he picked up the offense, it wasn't a competition. Like, I'm just done. I'll lose the Valley and break the whole. Oof, boy, man, that's a can't happen. And the frustration is Cozy doesn't have the respect of his team. Game after game, personal fouls, ninjas talking trash, can't tackle, dance on the field, sidelines. I'm gonna push back on this, mainly on the one where it talks about the guys getting the personal fouls. This is the most personal fouls we've seen all season. Like, go back and watch last season. You ain't seen them kind of penalties. This is the first time you've seen those kind of penalties. Now, the dancing, I'm with you on that. I'm not a lover of that. Again, though, they're young. They're not the 24, 25-year-old grown behind men you've had. They are 21, 22. And them 2 years make a difference. Like, it makes a difference. Me as a 40-year-old sitting with guys who are in their 20s, we having a conversation about homecoming. We talking about the same event. And he's like, oh, yeah, this. And I'm like, yeah, it was nice. It was nice. I also like, I'm married. I'm going home. You saying we'll live it up, my boy. Like, they're young. They're mature. They're making immature decisions. But you don't see them fouls you saw last year. I ain't gonna lie. Them personal foul penalties and the trash talking were worse last year. I think it's easier to be a prisoner of the moment and say that because we lost. But I think if you kind of look at it last year, our penalties are way down. Like, we led the nation in penalties the last 3 years. This year, I don't think we were close. Like, so yeah. Bryson Martin, look, I'm Team Martin. I ain't seen it from Hooker yet. I think he can show it, but look, Martin came in there one pass and was dealing. I don't want to see Hooker. I ain't gonna lie. And I don't know if he's redshirted or not. I don't know if he's got one. But yeah, we got 3 games left. If you got a red shirt open for him, he don't see the field. I don't care what it is. I don't give a darn. Like, some guys that hadn't played that might have the eligibility to redshirt need that. I don't know if he does or does not. I think he uses already, but just saying. These tapes, believe me, they got punished via these players don't respect them. Okay. Hey, they respect that bench. Because I'm just saying, in game, I don't see it. It may be otherwise, but if we look at the results say the personal foul penalties are down. Like, just saying. Little baby says, do we have a guy who wants to play QB, put as a wide receiver or something? Can't we use him? Ja'Cory Jordan? I've seen that movie. Like, and FAMU and any other school. Like, what is Colorado without Shedeur and Travis Hunter? What is Florida State without Travis? I mean, look, you look across the street and say that. Last year, they had a quarterback, receiver, and running back. This year, they got a couple running backs, maybe. Trash. So what is any team without a quarterback? Good question, though. And then why do the players go in the stands? From what I was told, folks were fighting the fans. So it was something between the band and the fans and some of the family members. And I don't know if you like me, but you start speaking greasy to my mama, I'm looking a certain kind of way. You touch my mama, it's a good thing. Because if you watch the video, and at first I was like, man, I wonder if we're going to get some type of suspension or something like that. And, but it looked like they were protecting people. So we'll kind of look at that, in a second. The activities I saw and heard happened yesterday had me appalled. Hey, I'm just saying, it's like last year we could back it up with the ninjas. Could we? Yes. I mean, you also had grown men for the same point. You had an incident where someone practically got sued. Just saying, the Alabama State game happened. I ain't seen that happen this year. Just saying that if this happens last year, somebody gets suspended. I'll leave it there. But obviously, though, the QB battle is going to be a question. I think Martin is the guy that I'm running with. I think he's probably going to be the guy for next year. I think I got to see what Hooker gives. Like, when we've seen him in there, it wasn't great. Has he picked up the offense? Has he got it? Real question. The running backs, meh. I mean, once you kind of lost Richardson, you lose Dean. Like, you had some big runs in there. Like, Bo looks good. Dad Franklin, he's solid. Bo's not the breakaway runner. Like, he's not gonna run away from you. He does get caught. But you were missing guys. Like the receivers, you fumble late fumble from Goldie Lawrence. It's just, I mean, it's hard to catch passes, especially when some of them aren't on target. But then the other question is, what's up with the offensive line? Like, that's a sack, and we've seen Daniel Richardson get banged up quite a bit this year. Like, I'm asking an honest question about the offensive line, and I saw it posted somewhere else. Do you get offensive line coach? I mean, do you make your OC / offensive line coach just focus on one? I mean, that's a real honest question. Like, that's not a slight on anybody. That's a real question of, like, do you force Coach Henry to specialize as either the offensive coordinator / play caller, or do you have him focus on being the offensive line coach? And if that's met with some type of pushback, is that another opportunity where you kind of start making phone calls? Like, hey, you getting this 100,000 you kind of doing here? Are you thinking about expanding your portfolio? I can make some calls for you. That's not me trying to push people out. That's just, for me, I'm already thinking about the end of the season. Like, I'm not going to sell y'all this pipe dream that we're going to win the SWAC. Like, unless that Arkansas Pine Bluff stuff comes through, which I doubt, and they make Jackson State forfeit a significant number of games, kind of is what it is. Like, and in this game, we're seeing another Tallahassee team that, without its quarterback, ain't what you think it should be. Like, so you got to rectify that. Defensively, honestly, I wasn't that upset. Like, you can get mad at the results, and if you're looking at the fourth quarter, oh yeah, off with his head, fire that man. But if you look at the rest of the game, the defense was actually solid. Like, again, the offense gives up 14 points. Like, what, they had 2 interceptions? Oh no, 1 interception return. You got the deep bomb. Sorry, I think they had like 2-3 picks though. So without a pick 6 and really no offensive input, you get a touchdown and 2 field goals. That's a winnable game. And the defense is just on the field pretty much the entire fourth quarter. What do you expect? Like, at some point, you got a realistic expectation of the team. Like, you can't just sit up here and say they should stop the run in the fourth quarter when the offense ain't did diddly and squat. Like, what's up, Mary 305? KFC, y'all. What is the offense supposed to do? I mean, defense. Because the offense is not giving you anything. You are consistently on the field. And honestly, Bubba stopped running too early. Like, you even heard the commentator were like, yeah, you broke off a decent run. I'm surprised you haven't gone back to it in a while. Then all of a sudden they go back to it and they're gashing you. The defense is tired. I mean, go back and look at that time possession. It's not in our favor. Like, especially in that fourth quarter. Time possession is flipped. So you're getting no offensive production. The defense is until that, minus that pick 6, what's that? 24? So, yeah, another interception. So, offensively, you pretty much spotted them 10. If the offense gives you 28 points, the game is different. Like, I think that's somewhere, again, you start asking that question. Defensive coordinator? Yeah, I don't really have no bunch of questions. Like, I don't love everything, but I don't hate everything either. Because I did see some things change. Once defense got tired, it kind of was what it was. Offensively, though, there are a lot of red flags, man. There are a lot of questions. Like, you got to make some changes. Like, something's going to have to happen. Like, I think that was Rich's dad. I don't know who it was. Finally, we got, oh, yeah, I liked him. He was solid. He was real solid. Running back from Old Dominion. There we go. Look, I know Kevin Dean got hurt. So, and that's the other thing. You lost, but you lose Dean, you lose Gassett, you lose Richardson. I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me. I'd say that's a good 60 to 70% of your offense gone. So, yeah, it's a tough get, man. And look, defense worn down, and championship team doesn't have a team on the 1 yard line and give up 80 yards drive against the bottom level SWAC offense. Schematically, you can. I mean, think of scheme wise. It happens. Like, team I would bounce that a team that wins championships finds a way to finish, because you may give up a big bad play. I mean, we've seen championship teams give up long touchdowns. We've also seen them stop the other team when it counts. And you, especially if they were offensively leaning like FAMU is, you saw an offense that could score and stay on schedule, and a defense that can make plays at the right time. And I think that's really what we're missing. You have a defense that can make plays. You got an offense that can't stay on schedule. Like, I mean, after getting 52 points, you have an injury and you drop back down to 12. Before that, you struggled to break 21 points for most of the season. So I struggle to say it's really on the defense as much as your offense is extremely inconsistent this season. And especially when you have a few injuries to kick in at key positions, that exasperates the situation to a point to where you have an offense that is damn near unplayable. Like, in some positions, like, you have the quarterback position that right now is unplayable. Full stop. I don't care if I'm pissing you off or not. I'd rather tell you the truth than lie to you, but I respect you enough to tell you the truth. This offense is inconsistent. And then what you have at quarterback right now, it's unplayable. Not if you're going to run this offense and try to – the deep routes are done. Like, you can't throw deep routes with my boy at quarterback right now. He's not hitting. Like, that's not me trying to say that as a slight or anything like that. If he was hitting the targets, I wouldn't say it. But when you go back and watch the game, you see the receivers doing this a lot. They're reaching out and the ball is 3-4 yards ahead of them. You're putting too much on the ball. You're throwing it too far. I don't know who you're throwing to, but it wasn't them. So, it's the offense where your real problem is. Your defense has had issues, but they bowed up. Of course you're going to miss tackles late in the fourth quarter. You're getting the ball run down your throat. But our offense, you're unplayable at quarterback. The most important position is unplayable. Your offensive line right now is questionable. I won't say suspect, but you have spots on the line where, Jared Curl ain't curling quite right. Receiver position, you're fine. And you lost your second receiver. And I told y'all, Quan Lee looked darn near solid. Goldie Lawrence comes in and has some meaningful plays. But, he's got the fumble late because he's just trying too hard. Like, I'm not mad at that. You know what? I was mad in the moment. But the fact that the game's over and you're giving me 117%, you know what? The fact you fumbled, get up off the ground. Because when other people gave up and quit, you bust your butt to the point where you made a mistake. I'm cool with that. Like, if Goldie Lawrence is kicking himself for that, I hope he picks himself up. And here's anybody that wants to discredit him and says double middle fingers to you, because you can't say I gave up. Like, and look, I'm saying LG, and I told y'all last week. I said it last week. I'll say it again. There's only one call I'm making tomorrow. I mean that's tampering. But in 3 weeks, after that day after Thanksgiving, that Saturday, I'm calling the bodies. If I got to call Scotty, and I got Scotty's number, I know somebody on that staff's got Scotty's number. Like, and I'm not saying to blow you. You're not my best friend. We're cordial. Like, I don't have a problem, dude. I'm making that call. And even if I can't get them, I'm like, yo, Scotty, can you put us in contact? Because I know you're cool with him. Can you put us in contact so we can get this going? Because we saw what Daniel Richardson looked like. That was a good movie. We saw what Musa looked like. Even with the turnovers at times. Great movie. We seen Rashawn McKay. Another amazing movie. We even saw Ryan Stanley. And outside of the prime times, end of the season features. Excellent movie. So guess what? I think Andrew Body is the guy. Let's make this happen. We got the NIL. We got the Fang Exchange. We got FAMU Vodka. It's going to be a great Christmas drink. I ain't going to lie to y'all. Christmas soiree. I'm definitely going to have to get a couple bottles of the FAMU Fang Exchange Vodka. Hopefully it's not on back order like that Club Shay Shay stuff. I can't get it in. Look. Hope Cousin Russell's not watching, but that was supposed to be your gift. I can't. That thing's on back order forever. But like, this is definitely one of those games where the holes that you saw, I think, impacted your recruiting for next year. And I'll be honest, if I'm cozy, I'm walking in there with a hat across the street. And I'm like, hey, I know you're getting rid of people. Just who? Like, I'll take almost everybody except for the DJ kid. Like, nothing against DJ, but I think that's a stretch. Like, we need somebody a little more mobile. But I think you walk across that street and be like, yo, we got some opportunities at FAMU. I mean, you got some guys over here. You got some guys that didn't pan out. I mean, transfer portal hits. You got some transfer portal misses. But I'm just saying, I think you go, you might hit up Gainesville one time, but I'm definitely going across the street and, doing a little shopping. Like, what's going on? Because the quarterback room is going to need some work. The offensive line needs some work. Receiver-wise, you're pretty solid. I ain't going to hold you. Tight ends are going to need some help badly. Like, you're losing 3 out of almost half your tight ends. Like, so I think you already kind of know what's up. Look, I didn't even say Jekyll and Hyde offense. Look, baby, I said I got Jekyll and Hyde quarterback. Like, I promise you, I love my guy, but he is Jekyll and Hyde. Like, one play, dude looks like he's NFL caliber. Next play, you can't play this in high school. Like, I'm just saying. Go and find the number of 3 and outs on our defense has extremely low. It's low, but again, especially in this game, once Daniel Richardson's off the field, I think you got to kind of throw that with a grain of salt because some of the positioning they're in. I mean, the final score is 31-12, but what was the amount of points that? And I'm gonna use computer 2. Well, yeah, it's computer 2. Kind of pull that up, but I wonder how many points did we give up in that fourth quarter? I didn't have that handy, but our defense, it's hard. It's easy to kind of look at the end result and be like, man, the defense is terrible. You got to kind of look at the offense and how many times that defense started in pretty trash position on the field. Like, not trying to even be that guy who's just an apologist, and I probably am a little bit, but the offense didn't exactly do us a ton of favors. And you even heard Coach Colsey say, like, it's, hey, we lost our guy. Like, I mean, that's a big deal there. You gave up 14 points in the entire second half, and that was in the fourth quarter. So we're talking 17 points. So 17-12 at half. So once the defense gets worn down, you give up 14. I don't know. I think you gotta kind of be fair on this one. Like if we're gonna call a spade, we're gonna be fair about this. We got to look at all the stats, not just the ones that kind of make us mad. Like I'm just saying, because I'm sorry, I got it ready on this screen right here. So, but yeah, like coming over here, and this is definitely from computer 2. Hopefully it pops up. There we go. So you can kind of let it go there. There you go. So told y'all we kind of doing some things over here. Like you can see that whole second half there, you gave up a whole 14 points, all those in the fourth quarter when your defense is gashed. Like offense gave you 3 points in the first half. That's pitiful, especially against that defense. And then turns around and gets 9 in the third quarter. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're getting a touchdown per quarter, that's not even staying on schedule, but it's a different game. Like, look, I'm just saying, like, look, y'all know I argue with data, so I don't, I let my opinion hang but so far, but in this game, the difference was the offense. The defensive output was that's part of the story. I'm not gonna argue with you there. Like I definitely agree that EA's point here, those 3 and outs. But how much were they on the field? Time possession. I had to go back and look because I did watch. I definitely watched. The only game I haven't watched is Jackson State game. I refuse to watch that. But look, there will be other quarterbacks in the portal. There will be. I kind of like Martin though, from what I've seen though. Like I need to see a little more, but I really think for this season and for what it is going into next season, I think this is where you start prepping. You really start working the offensive line. Like we've kind of said that it's kind of a troublesome position. I've even questioned, do you force coach to specialize? But at some point in some place, you're gonna have to, and we already know how the transfer portal works. Offensive line, defensive line are coveted positions. You can always find skill positions. It's easy to find a receiver, DB, specialist. Easy to find. The hard thing to find are offensive linemen, especially tackles, and quarterbacks to a certain degree, but high quarterbacks, like good quarterbacks. You can always get quarterback. But to get high-level offensive line and defensive linemen, that's tough. Because we even see here what happened at FAMU. You lost your best defensive lineman to Power 5 programs. Power 4, excuse me. There's no such thing as Power 5 anymore. Power 4 schools. UCLA, Illinois, then a group of 5 school in Troy. You also lost 2 of your best players to Power 4 Colorado. Like, so if Power 4 schools are reaching down to the FCS and further down into HBCU land to get their top players, like you're talking ACC schools of kids from Harvard that are starting. Like, so it's not, unseen. Like Florida State took a dude from Alabama A&M a few years ago. So we're seeing the offensive and defensive line are the places where you're really going to have to get it out of the high school ranks. You have to develop the talent. You can't rely on the transfer portal to get that. So this is one of those places, especially now. National Signing Day is what, a month away? I need to see some offers go out to offensive and defensive linemen because we know the transfer portal is not going to be it. If that's what you're waiting on, you're very likely to be very disappointed because what's more than likely to happen, your top level defensive linemen and offensive linemen are going to go up. And the level of offensive linemen and defensive linemen you get to come down are the backups or the guys who just can't play at that level. So this makes it more important that you kind of learn the lesson from across the street. Like Florida State went transfer portal heavy for how long? They hit home runs, and then they have a season where they whiff. And it's about to be a 2-win season, if that. Like they might seriously lose to Charleston Southern. Like, seriously. So you're gonna have to revisit how you do recruiting because you can get skill positions all day long tomorrow morning, no problem. You can hit the junior college ranks all day long. We know that too. But with the junior college ranks, especially with O line, D line, you're going to have to start getting those offers out there. And like I said, you got to start hitting these high school ranks because we're seeing at FAMU in particular, some of these positions are so reliant on the offensive line that if you don't have that high level offensive lineman, I shouldn't say it's a high level, playable offensive lineman, the season's done. And that's any team, but especially here at FAMU, where we didn't see 5-4. And I love what Nick Dixon pointed out. And y'all know I don't always quote Nick. It's not because of dislike or whatever. It's just because I'm careful about that kind of stuff. I saw him at the game the other week, no problems. But this is a rebuilding season at this point. We kind of didn't want it to be. We expected a championship. But you kind of look at what you lost and you get real about it. But you're going to have to rebuild this offensive line. Like a championship is going to start from the line. Always has. Football-wise, probably always will. But in this case, we've seen that offensively, you've got to bolster this offense because Richardson's taking some hits. He's been injured and pretty much worn out post games and just sucked it up. This week, it was too much. And at a certain point, we kind of see what it is. Like, as a football team, you got to build a line of scrimmage and build from there. That's what works at Miami. You look at what Mario Cristobal's done. He's got a lot of talent. I still question some things about coaching. Talent-wise, you can't say anything. And he built that thing from the inside out from the line. For Colsey to have success at FAMU, you're going to have to do something similar. You're going to have to build that offensive line, fix it, like really fix it. And from that offensive line, go from there. Because defensively, you know what it is. FAMU's defense has been the dark cloud defense for however long. And people, they know the success of this defense starts on the line. You got to do the same thing with the offense. Otherwise, there's going to be some problems. Like one last thing. I think Colsey being full transparent about Smitty and Willem. I have a mention this. I'll be honest. Smitty was, it was what it was, man. I don't think he was done right. I've said that before. That's just me personally. I don't think Smitty was done right in that coaching situation. But at the same point, I don't think you can just bring him back and play plug and play and act like Murray State ain't having a sorry year themselves. Like Murray State is not burning down any bridges. They're not a good football team. They're getting dog walked most weeks. So it's like we could lie about this or we could be honest. They just gave up 59 points, 59-31. And they are not winning any games. Like they're routinely giving up 40 and 50 points. So y'all know me, I stand on stats, I stand on data. Like I told y'all, Murray State's not a good team. They're not. Do I think Smitty would have a different approach to his defense? Yeah. Do I think you probably would have kept maybe a few more guys? I don't know. But at the same point, I think you would have got that real about how the transfer portal hit us. Like, that transfer portal hurt. Like, it definitely hurt FAMU. And I did a whole show where I talked about how HBCUs and FCS schools are becoming the minor leagues. And that's what happens. When you pull the best player from a minor league team and they go to a major league team, the minor league team is going to suffer. That's what happens. Like, and Lil Baby says, if I'm doing transfer portal, I'm doing D2 players who need to be D1, not FBS with no playing time. If possible. I mean, you're seeing it work at South Carolina State. I mean, he brought some of his guys up from Benedict, and it's working. Like, now it hasn't worked as well for Cookman. They've done some of that mix and match where some of the guys are high-level group of 14 players, and some of them are. But we'll see, because I'm just saying I wouldn't play Dan Richardson because I can't lose the Classic, and that's the FAMU and me speaking. Like that's nothing else. Like if you're on a notecast, that thing just popped up. Told y'all it's gonna fire them people. And look, don't knock FBS prospects at the high school level who are overlooked for the portal. Give me 30 seconds. I'm gonna hit my rant. And then right here, I didn't expect the championship team. I gave Cozy some wiggle room. An 8-4 season at worst. I didn't expect to wiggle around PV. I did not. I expected a PVW. But that's why last episode was like talking about a hangover. Because no kickers, no punter. Yep. Barely playing Kamari Stevens. You would think those guys would have seen that, but nope. So I will say this. Part of my problem in recruiting last year, we definitely relied on the transfer portal a lot. And that's just out there. Like that's we've seen that. I know I got a cousin who played last year. Kid was like all city, all county in Orlando. So we're not saying now he wasn't all city in, Tuscaloosa. Like he was all city in a major metropolitan city, high level football. Kid goes D2, started to get some burn at West Florida, and he's killing it. Like as a freshman. So, and even in talking to some of the coaches, I remember talking to Quinn Gray, and he's like, man, we were trying to get the portal. I was like, all right, y'all missing the boat though. And we're starting to see if you develop these kids and they stay, it does two things. It's better for the school. We see, look, I'm literally wearing a Xavier Smith shirt. Like a guy that was like, kind of undersized, NFL now. Homegrown. Like Marquise Bell was not homegrown. He was a transfer, but he comes in, kills it. Terrell Jennings, homegrown. Like you're starting to see where some of what HBCUs have to do is you got to embrace your niche. Like at times we try to follow the trend so hard when we forget that we're not the trend. We're the trend setters. Like HBCUs are where the black players were playing at first because you had to, not because of choice, but they had to. All of a sudden, schools started getting hip to the game. Then all of a sudden, they bring in our players. Band culture, HBCUs are playing Neck and all these other songs. Now all of a sudden, FSU plays Neck, LSU plays Neck, UCF plays Neck. All the schools, they play swag surfing. Like the stuff that the HBCUs start become trendy. And then all of a sudden, they start doing it. They take it up to a new level. And we just start then trying to follow what they're doing. Opposed to like, let's take a little bit from what they're doing, but stay true to what ourselves are. And I think if HBCUs were really being true to themselves, they would take advantage of the fact that, or would have taken advantage of the fact that a lot of schools are not focusing on taking high school talent. They are trying to win through the portal. They're trying to do all these things through the portal, which is a great idea. I mean, I ain't gonna quote Scotty and some other folks, but it ain't tricking if you got it. But if you ain't got it, it's tricking. Like, you ain't got it to be paying these kids $300,000 to come to FAMU to play one position. Nah, you ain't got that. Like, you might not have 10,000 to give a kid, but what you might have is 1,000 to give 10 kids, or nothing to give a freshman and say, hey man, come prove yourself. We got an NIL. You come in, you look good, we'll take care of you. But at first, you gotta come get it out the mud. And you show your guys that are in the NFL on active rosters. We're not talking about practice squads no more. Like FAMU's overcome that. Oh yeah, this on the practice squad. Like that used to aggravate the mess out of me. We would celebrate you being on the practice squad, like you made the league. Nah, bro, you doing good. I'm thankful for it. I'm proud of you. But in the other side of this, you're not on the 52. I'm just saying Isaiah Lane, he's on the 52 every week. Like, I mean, Marquise Bell, Terrell Jennings, Xavier Smith, they've been on the 52 for the past couple weeks. I mean, so what did we do with them that was different? Marquise Bell has a situation at Maryland, goes to, I believe, Coffeyville, comes to FAMU. Hey, we're going to give you a home environment. To somebody we provided you different. We provided you home when home is what you wanted. He is very home-centered. He likes his family. He's about his family. I'm going to provide you a family atmosphere that speaks to you. That's the difference. With Terrell Jennings, Xavier Smith, Isaiah Land. Hey, Isaiah Land, you know what? I see it in you, even if they don't. Come to FAMU. Like, Terrell Jennings, you can question if he should even play at FAMU. Like, he really probably could have played at a higher level. But you took advantage of market inefficiencies to build your program. And I think that's the way FAMU has to go going forward. We've seen this season trying to follow the trend ain't going to work. You got to go back to what you were doing before was setting the trend. During the Billy Joe era, nobody was going to these junior colleges and getting all these players like you. Nobody was getting these kids to transfer in. You were the trendsetter. Everyone caught up. Then all of a sudden, it falls apart. Then in this new era, you kind of go back to it where you get high-level transfers that come in with your homegrown talent. And that was the difference. You weren't, oh, we're just going to bring in a lot of transfer guys. We're going to bring in specific transfer guys to come in and fit in with our homegrown talent. That was your difference. And I think that's kind of the market inefficiency you have to go back to exploiting, that more of these schools are really recruiting junior college and out of the transfer portal. Let's exploit that. Let's go and get those 2- and 3-star high school prospects. Offer them, get you at campus at FAMU, develop them, use the transfer portal to bring in those high-level guys, but then use your homegrown talent to build up the floor. The transfer portal is really to build in the ceiling, but the high schools are to build your floor, because as the season goes on, as the years goes on, the floor should rise. That talent should get better. And we're seeing this season where I don't think we've done that. Like, and look, EA said HBCU culture doesn't mean anything now. The white girls, the PWIs got. Hey, man, but they ain't got it off the hills like the FAMU girls got it. And there's a difference. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like, the HBCU culture still matters to those of us who are still, I don't want to say gatekeeping, but it's a difference. And when they get that FAMU experience, it still makes a difference. And little baby, I'm with you. I think 80-20, 70-30. Like, honestly, I think if you do 70-30, and I think you still done a lot of that, but the key, and I love this right here, to implementing what you're saying, is having coaches that can evaluate and develop talent using On3, 247. It is, and I think that was part of the gift you had with Riz. Like, you had a guy that was new people. He can make those calls. And for everything you want to say he was, or whatever you want to say he wasn't, Coach Respers understands recruiting. Full stop. And I think one of the things you're missing this year, you're missing that person that's kind of got the eye to what attracts the kids. Like, we've lost even those talented guys that have now become recruiters. They've gone to Murray State. Like, you've got to kind of come in, revitalize this recruiting. Some of those guys you whiffed on last year that are Division II, go back and make those phone calls. Hey, I know we missed out on the Division I thing. We had a vision, but whatever you want to spin it as. That's how you spin it as. But I definitely agree. You try to go Division II, I'm looking at you, West Florida. I'm looking at what you're doing. I'm seeing if I can snag some of them kids. I'm also looking at the FBS to be like, hey, all right, who can I get from? But this late in the game, I'm looking at some of these high school kids. Like, National Signing Day is literally about 3 weeks to a month away. You're not telling me some of these higher level talented kids aren't sitting over here looking around like, I ain't got the offers I want. Like, I can tell you from last year, Cuzzo had one kind of FCS offer, and it was like, yeah, nah, cuz that it went somewhere else, kill it this year. He ain't the only one like that. Like, I'm not saying you make a habit of getting it and digging through the weeds to find talent, but what I'm saying is there's enough overlooked 2 and 3 star players that you can get at your school that you can get to come in and set the floor. Hey, you coming in? You a scholarship? Might be practice squad at first. But look what Bo turned into. Bo Somerset was a 3-star prospect. I mean, let's be honest. If he had that breakout speed, like if he was pulling away from people, he'd be gone next year. Like, I'm just going to say it. If he doesn't get caught from the back like he does as many times, that kid's not coming back. Like, I mean, goalie Lawrence ain't put great film out there, but he's got good film. He'll probably be back. Let's see what it look like next year. Like, and then on the other side of that, you got to recruit your kids. Like, you got to bring Xavier Smith and Terrell Jennings back and be like, hey, come tell them you can make it from FAMU. Like, call KJ Black. Call these people who used to be here, soon to be Prairie View Hall of Famer. Or if not, he's now Prairie View Hall of Famer. Get them to come back so you can make it from FAMU. Like, use these connections. Like, because what we saw this week was that you have some areas that are so unplayable that they make it to where they put your job in jeopardy as a head coach. And that's not, saying fire the coach, whatever. That's saying some of these positions you got to address within the next couple of weeks to make sure that next season is in and next season is good. So, and Gail says, did national signing go away per NCAA? The national letter of intent is done, but they're still gonna have National Signing Day. Like, those kids still gonna sign and go places. You still gonna have that ritual for a while until somebody figures something else out. Like, and look, a lot of black kids with talent waiting on the HBCU to contact them and don't get the call. I'm just saying, like, not even just little black kids. I was trying to keep from coughing. That thing was right there. Not just little black kids, but students in general. You'd be surprised. You got quite a few students that could be some playmakers that are going to get overlooked because schools are wanting to hit the portal. So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing goes. Look, we did good, except for the FAMU game. 4-1, still number 1. If things keep up, I'm going to win the championship again, and I'm going to call my man Wes, my line brother, and be like, I need you to find a belt for me because I'm running this. Like, if it's not for the FAMU game, that was 5-0. Like, if it wasn't for the FAMU game, I'd have a perfect record this week. And none of my teams won this weekend. The Bucks lost, the Cowboys lost, FSU, FAMU, everybody. Look, so kind of is what it is, man. But Thursday, man, we're gonna get ready for this. What's going to be now an exciting Valley game? Like, I got questions, real questions. Like, are you gonna play Daniel Richardson? I wouldn't. And if he doesn't play, who starts? And is this a, interview for next year's starting quarterback job? Because if it's not, I'm just saying, and more so, if it is, does one of them hit the transfer portal? Good questions, man. Volleyball by 3. Hey, volleyball, future SWAC champions. Let's make that happen. All right, y'all. For everybody at HBCU Digital Network, though, look, I'm gonna see y'all Thursday here on the network, man. It's always gonna be. Thanks.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!